We tell stories of human. Way, not with artificial voices or AI slop. In the end, what's HFI without? Humanity? Subscribe to keep it this way. My name is Amir Sohal. Let's begin. The Earth was not what it used to be. Once a bright and lively planet full of cities, forests, and oceans, it had become nothing but a shadow of its former self. Ruined skyscrapers leaned like broken teeth. Highways were cracked and overgrown with weeds, and the seas were filled with strange, glowing debris. Birds no longer sang, and even the wind seemed to whisper with sorrow. For 3,000 years, humanity had vanished, leaving only echoes of its past. Deep in the ruins of what was once New York, a lone figure moved carefully among the rubble. His armor was sleek, dark, and covered in strange symbols that glowed faintly. He paused, scanning the empty streets with sharp, cautious eyes. This was a human scout, the first to step foot on Earth in millennia. His name was Kieran, though few alive today would know it. The air was thick with dust, and every step he took sent tiny clouds swirling into the gray sky. Kieran's mission was clear: investigate what remained of Earth and recover any hidden clues about the alien forces that had destroyed it. These aliens, known only as the Vrax, had invaded suddenly, obliterating human civilization in a single devastating strike. Humanity had fled into hidden stations in deep space, waiting, planning, and evolving. The Vrax thought humans were gone forever. They were wrong. As Kieran moved to the shattered city, he noticed something strange. Among the wreckage of a collapsed building, a small object pulsed with soft blue light. He approached it cautiously, crouching low. The object was a sphere, about the size of a fist, made of metal that shimmered in the fading sunlight. It emitted a gentle hum, almost like it was alive. Kieran's gloved hands hovered over the sphere. Suddenly, it projected a holographic map into the air. The map showed Earth as it had once been, but over it floated dozens of strange symbols and markings. Some looked like constellations, others like circuits or alien languages. Kieran studied them carefully. He did not understand all of them, but one thing was clear. Someone or something had left this as a message. He tapped a sequence on the sphere, and a voice echoed in his helmet. "They will return," it said, calm and metallic. "They will return to reclaim what was lost. Prepare." The voice ended abruptly, leaving Kieran staring at the fading hologram. His heart raced. This message was not just a warning, it was a clue. Something powerful had survived the fall of Earth. Something waiting. Kieran moved on, the sphere tucked safely in his pack. As he walked, memories of the old world flickered in his mind. Stories of towering cities, vibrant communities, and endless skies. He had never seen them himself. He had only heard about them from the elders aboard the human station. But the echoes of that lost world made his resolve stronger. Humans had fallen once, but they were not weak. They had returned smarter, stronger, and hungrier for justice. Suddenly, a sound broke the silence. It was faint at first, like the distant rumble of thunder. Kieran froze, scanning the horizon. The sound grew louder, metal grinding against metal, a rhythmic clanking that seemed unnatural. From the shadows of a crumbling skyscraper, shapes began to emerge. Not human shapes. Tall, thin, and covered in glistening armor, their eyes glowing a cold green. The Vrax had been waiting, watching. Kieran's hand went to his weapon, a sleek energy rifle designed to cut through alien defenses. The Vrax moved slowly, calculating every step. They did not seem aware of his presence yet, but the scout knew better. One wrong move, and he could be overwhelmed. His training kicked in, every muscle tensed, every sense alert. Then, without warning, one of the Vrax turned sharply, its glowing eyes locking onto him. It let out a low, vibrating growl that shook the broken streets. Kieran fired immediately, the energy blast striking the alien and throwing it back. But more were coming, dozens of them, faster and stronger than any human soldier could hope to fight alone. Kieran ran, diving behind a collapsed bridge. He activated his helmet's interface, sending a signal back to the human station. Vrax detected. Earth is not safe. Need extraction. He knew help would not arrive quickly. 3,000 years had passed, and the Vrax controlled much of the space around Earth. But he could not stop now. He had to reach the central plaza, where the ruins of the old government building still stood. As he ran, Kieran noticed strange symbols etched into walls, glowing faintly in the twilight. They matched the markings from the sphere. Each symbol seemed to hum with energy, and he realized something incredible. Earth itself had been rigged as a trap or a warning. The message left behind was meant for humans returning, to guide them, test them, or perhaps prepare them for what lay ahead. He reached the central plaza, where the ground had cracked open, revealing tunnels and underground passages. Kieran slipped inside, just as a Vrax patrol reached the edge of the plaza. The alien's eyes scanned the shadows, but they missed him. The tunnels were dark and twisting, but they held secrets that might change everything humans thought they knew about the Vrax, and about their own lost planet. Inside the tunnels, Kieran discovered walls lined with carvings. Unlike any human writing, these markings told a story of invasion, resistance, and a strange power buried deep beneath Earth's surface. Some of the symbols seemed to pulse in rhythm with his heartbeat. He realized that the Vrax were not just invaders. They were also guardians of something ancient, something humans had never understood. As he moved deeper, a sudden tremor shook the tunnel. Rocks fell from the ceiling, dust filled the air, and Kieran had to dive for cover. When the shaking stopped, he saw it. A massive door carved from a single piece of black stone, glowing with faint green light. Strange symbols covered its surface. This was what the sphere had hinted at. This was a turning point. Whatever lay behind this door could change the course of the human return forever. Kieran's hand hovered over the door, hesitant. The Vrax were out there, hunting, but he could feel the pull of this ancient place. It called to him, whispered promises of power, secrets, and vengeance. The scout knew that opening the door would not be easy and it would not be safe, but humans had waited 3,000 years for this moment. They would not turn back now. He activated the sphere again, holding it against the door. The symbols on the door matched those on the sphere perfectly, and with a hum, the black stone began to shift. Slowly, painfully, the massive door opened, revealing a chamber bathed in eerie green light. Inside, Kieran could see shapes moving, forms that seemed to pulse with energy. Machines, perhaps, or creatures, but not like anything he had ever seen. A voice echoed again, this time from within the chamber itself. "The time has come," it said, low and resonant. "Humanity returns, and the galaxy will remember." Kieran stepped inside, heart pounding, knowing that nothing would ever be the same. Outside, the ruins of Earth lay silent once more, the wind whispering across broken streets. Somewhere, the Vrax watched, unaware that the first spark of humanity's revenge had just been lit. And in the darkness of the ancient chamber, Kieran realized the truth. This was only the beginning. The unexpected turning point had come. Humans were no longer victims. They were returning, and nothing in the galaxy would be ready for what was about to happen. Deep in the cold darkness of space, far from the remnant of a broken Earth, massive human stations floated silently. They were hidden from the galaxy for thousands of years, shields powered, engines silent, waiting. Inside these stations, humans slept in cryogenic pods, unaware of the centuries passing outside. But now the time had come. Kieran's discovery on Earth had triggered a signal, a chain reaction planned long ago. The sphere's message had activated the ancient systems of the human stations. Lights flickered on, and the pods began to hiss and open, releasing clouds of mist. Humans awoke, blinking against the bright artificial lights. Bodies stronger, minds sharper, memories of old Earth mixed with new enhancements. The first to awaken was Commander Elara, her eyes scanning the room as if she remembered every detail of the universe. She stood tall, her muscles taut and perfect, cybernetic enhancements hidden beneath her skin, undetectable until needed. Around her, soldiers, scientists, and engineers stirred, groaning as they adjusted to the new reality. Humanity had evolved in exile, training their bodies and minds for one purpose: vengeance. The station's AI, known only as Aegis, spoke in a calm, resonant voice. "Humans, your time has come. The Vrax remain unaware of your return. Prepare. History awaits." The words echoed through the vast corridors. Humans had been patient for 3,000 years, but now, patience had ended. The galaxy would feel the wrath of those it thought were extinct. Kieran entered the main chamber, holding the sphere. He recounted his findings on Earth, the glowing symbols, the chamber, and the hidden message. Every eye in the room followed him closely, their expressions a mix of fear, excitement, and determination. "They thought we were gone," he said, his voice steady. "They thought we were weak. They were wrong. Everything we need is hidden on our world, and we will reclaim it." A council of elders, humans who had survived the initial invasion and guided the secret stations, gathered around a holographic map. "The Vrax believe Earth is empty," Elder Ryan said. "They patrol the system lightly. But beneath the ruins lies a weapon, a power they could never destroy. We must reach it first." Plans were drawn swiftly. Ships were prepped, weapons charged, and strategies rehearsed. Humans had waited in shadows for centuries, studying alien tactics, recording movements, learning weaknesses. Their first strike would not be reckless. It would be precise, lethal, and unforgettable. Meanwhile, on Earth, Kieran continued to explore the chamber. The walls pulsed faintly with energy, and as he moved closer to strange forms, he realized they were not machines or living beings, but something in between, organic and mechanical, a fusion of technology and life. A strange blue light hummed from the center of the chamber, and Kieran felt a warmth he had never experienced. This was the core, the heart of something ancient and powerful. He activated the sphere once more, and the blue energy responded, swirling faster and brighter. Images flashed before his eyes, visions of humans long gone, their struggles against the Vrax, and the final, desperate act to hide Earth's secrets. It was as if the planet itself remembered humanity and had waited for the right moment to awaken them. Back on the stations, humans were preparing their fleet. Ships of every size and design lined the docks, engines ready to ignite. Soldiers ran simulations in virtual reality, testing every possible scenario. Engineers fine-tuned weapons capable of piercing Vrax shields. Scientists monitored the station's energy cores, ensuring that nothing could fail. Humans had learned to adapt, to survive, and now, to dominate. The first strike would not just be a battle, it would be a message. Humanity would not simply return. They would announce themselves with force. Every soldier, every ship, every human on the station felt in their bones. The time of hiding was over. Kieran returned to the station with the sphere. In a private chamber, he examined it further, tracing the symbols with his fingers. Suddenly, the sphere projected a new map, showing locations across the galaxy where the Vrax had left traces of their occupation. Bases, resource mines, communication hubs, every point of target. Every target a step closer to reclaiming humanity's honor. Commander Elara joined him. "This is bigger than I imagined," she said, her voice steady but awe-filled. "We are not just reclaiming Earth. We are reclaiming the galaxy. They thought we were gone. They thought we would never fight back. They have no idea what is coming." Kieran nodded. "And it all starts with the ashes of Earth. Whatever lies beneath the ruins, it could turn the tide of every battle." Preparations continued. The humans suited up, stepping into armor that enhanced strength, speed, and endurance. Weapons glowed with energy, capable of slicing to the toughest alien metals. Ships hummed with power, ready to launch at a moment's notice. The humans were no longer ordinary. They were perfect soldiers, refined over centuries in exile. Then, a sudden alert echoed through the station. The Vrax had detected unusual energy readings near Earth. Though they believed the planet abandoned, their sensors had picked up Kieran's sphere. Panic spread through their ranks. The Vrax had assumed humans were extinct. They were unprepared, unready, and dangerously unaware of what was awakening. Elara issued commands with precision. "All fleets launch. Focus on stealth and speed. We hit the Vrax before they even know we exist." The stations erupted into controlled chaos, a symphony of movement as humans prepared for war. Every action, every calculation, had been planned for this very moment. Meanwhile, deep in the hidden chamber on Earth, Kieran activated the ancient core. Energy flowed into the sphere, and with it, knowledge, memories of Earth's greatest minds, strategies used to fight the Vrax long ago, innovations humans had never imagined. The chamber hummed, lights flickering wildly. Kieran realized the truth. Earth had not only preserved humanity's legacy, it had enhanced it. He contacted Elara. "It's ready. Whatever lies in the core, it can change everything. The first strike will not just be a battle. It will be a warning. The humans launched from the stations in silence, a fleet of ships glinting in the distant starlight. Their engines glowed softly, a sign of hidden power. They approached Earth, not to reclaim it yet, but to retrieve what had been hidden. The Vracs were watching, unaware that humanity was returning with a vengeance unlike anything they had ever faced. As the fleet approached, a strange phenomenon appeared in the sky above Earth. Energy ripples spread across the atmosphere, faint at first, then growing in intensity. The Vracs' senses began to register it, and panic rippled through their ranks. They had fought humans once, and they had won, but the humans they now faced were different. They were not just survivors. They were evolution incarnate, forged in exile, sharpened by time, and united by vengeance. Kieran stood at the chamber's core, feeling the energy course through him. "We will not fail," he whispered. "The galaxy will remember Earth. They will remember humanity." And for the first time in 3,000 years, hope, fury, and power surged together in perfect harmony. The unexpected turning point had passed, but the awakening of humanity had only just begun. The ashes of Earth were alive, and the humans who had returned were unstoppable. Outside, the stars seemed to shine brighter, as if the universe itself was watching, waiting, and ready to witness the rebirth of a species that had been written off as extinct. The first battle, the first strike, the first spark of revenge. It all was about to begin, and nothing, not even the Vracs, would ever be the same. The darkness of space stretched endlessly, pierced only by distant stars and the soft glow of human ships. The fleet moved like shadows across the void, silent, calculated, and lethal. Commander Elara stood on the bridge of the flagship Resurgence, her hands gripping the controls, eyes fixed on the display of the Vracs' outpost orbiting near the outer edge of the solar system. "This is it," she said softly, though her voice carried the weight of centuries. 3,000 years of waiting, and now we strike. Kieran stood beside her, holding the ancient sphere, its glow reflected in his eyes, as if it was alive and guiding them. "They think we are extinct," he said. "They think Earth is gone. They are wrong, and they won't survive this mistake." The Vracs' outpost was massive. Its walls shimmered with energy shields, and patrol ships circled like vultures, unaware that humans were watching from the shadows. Sensors showed that the alien fleet was strong but predictable, overconfident and arrogant. The humans had studied their tactics for centuries, and tonight, every move would count. Elara activated the fleet's stealth mode. Ships vanished from Vrac sensors, ghosting silently toward the outpost. Every pilot knew the stakes. The first strike had to be precise. A single mistake could alert the Vracs and cost thousands of lives. Suddenly, a warning flashed on the bridge. Small patrol ships had detected faint energy spikes. The Vracs were alerting each other, but it was too late. Humans were already in position. "Phase 1, Elara commanded. "Deploy the decoys." From a fleet, smaller ships shot forward holographic images of massive human battleships. The Vracs' outpost detected the decoys and fired upon them, wasting energy on illusions. Meanwhile, the Real fleet moved in from a different angle, engines humming softly, weapons charging to maximum power. Kieran activated the sphere, which floated in the air, projecting blue lines across the Vracs' outpost. Symbols glowed and shifted, forming a precise map of the alien defenses. Humans had never fought like this before. Every strike, every movement, was guided by knowledge long buried in Earth's ashes. "Target the shield generators first," Kieran instructed. "Everything else will follow." The first shots rang out. Energy beams sliced through space, striking the Vrac shields. Explosions rippled across the outpost, the hull shaking as if it were alive. Alien sirens blared, green lights flashing in panic. The Vracs had never seen humans attack with such strategy and precision. They were strong, but unprepared for ingenuity born from centuries of planning. From a flagship, Elara watched the battle unfold. Human pilots maneuvered like predators, dodging enemy fire, circling, striking, and disappearing into shadows. She could see the fear spreading among the Vracs' ranks. For the first time in thousands of years, humans had the upper hand, but the Vracs were not weak. A massive warship emerged from the outpost, its cannons glowing bright. It fired a beam that could destroy multiple human ships at once. Pilots scattered, diving behind debris and using the fleet's stealth systems to avoid annihilation. Kieran shouted commands, rerouting attacks, guiding ships to weak points in the Vrak's armor. Amid the chaos, a sudden realization struck him. The Vraks were not just defending, they were protecting something hidden within the outpost, something important enough to risk their entire fleet. Kieran's heart raced. Whatever it was, it could change the war entirely if humans didn't get to it first. Elara made a decision. Prepare the boarding teams. We hit the interior while the Vraks are distracted. Dropship shot forward, slipping past the chaos of beams and explosions. Inside, soldiers moved like shadows, silent and deadly. They were equipped with exosuits that enhanced strength and speed, their weapons glowing with blue energy. Every step was calculated, every breath silent. The humans had trained for centuries for this moment. They were not just fighting, they were reclaiming their destiny. Inside the Vrak's outpost, alarm screamed. Alien soldiers moved with mechanical precision, but their panic betrayed them. The humans struck from unexpected angles, cutting through corridors, disabling power cores, and planting charges. Kieran moved ahead with a team, following the sphere's guidance. Symbols on the walls glowed brighter, revealing secret passages and hidden chambers. Suddenly, the humans encountered a new threat. A creature unlike any they had seen before, a fusion of machine and flesh. Towering over them, its eyes glowing red. It moved with terrifying speed, its claws slicing through walls and armor alike. Soldiers fired, but bullets and energy blasts barely slowed it down. Kieran held the sphere high. It pulsed, and a wave of energy surged through the chamber. The creature staggered, its mechanical systems failing, and it collapsed in a heap of sparks and broken metal. The humans pressed on, understanding that Earth had not just given them weapons. It had given them guidance, protection, and power. Above them, in orbit, the battle continued. The outpost shields were failing. Explosions lit up space as the human fleet pushed forward, relentless. The Vraks realized too late that they were under siege not just by strength, but by intelligence, strategy, and centuries of preparation. Inside the outpost, Kieran and his team reached the central chamber. There was a massive device, glowing with energy, cables and conduits feeding it like veins feeding a heart. The Vraks had been guarding it fiercely. Kieran activated the sphere, and the device responded, aligning with the symbols. He could feel a surge of power, knowledge, and energy coursing through him. This was what the Vraks feared most. Explosions shook the outpost as human pilots continued their assault. Kieran realized the truth. The device was a key, a weapon, and a shield all at once. With it, humans could turn the tide of the entire war. He activated it, and a pulse of energy spread through the outpost, disabling defenses, turning Vrak's weapons against them. The Vrak's commander roared in disbelief. How is this possible? They should be extinct. Elara smiled grimly from a flagship bridge. We never were, she said. And now you will pay. The outpost began to collapse from within. Humans withdrew in an organized retreat, taking the device with them. Explosions shattered the remaining walls, and the Vrak's fleet watched helplessly as their fortress fell into ruin. For the first time in history, humans had struck without mercy, with intelligence and with unstoppable force. As the fleet regrouped in space, Kieran looked at the device. It hummed with energy, ancient and powerful, its purpose yet fully unknown. But one thing was certain: humanity had returned, and the galaxy would never forget the day they struck back. Elara addressed the fleet, her voice calm but fierce. This is only the beginning. They thought we were extinct. They thought we were weak. But now we rise. We will reclaim our world, our future, and our vengeance. Kieran turned his eyes toward the stars, knowing the next phase of the war would be even greater. The Vraks would retaliate, but humans had learned the value of patience, strategy, and evolution. They were no longer prey. They were predators, forged in exile and tempered by time. And somewhere, deep in the galaxy, a faint signal echoed. Another Vrak stronghold had detected the destruction. They would come, but humanity was ready. Stronger, smarter, and hungrier than ever. The first strike had been a success, but the war had only begun. The ashes of Earth were not just a memory. They were the spark of humanity's wrath, burning brighter than the stars themselves. Kieran clenched his fists. We will not stop, he whispered. Not until every Vrax knows the price of underestimating humanity. And with that, the fleet disappeared into the shadows of space, leaving behind a trail of fire, fear, and the promise of vengeance. The galaxy trembled as the human fleet advanced deeper into Vrax territory. Stars streaked past the viewports of their ships, but there was no beauty in the motion. Only tension, anticipation, and the electric hum of weapons charged for battle. After the first strike, the Vrax had realized that humans were not gone. They were alive, stronger, and smarter than anything they'd ever faced. Commander Elara stood on the bridge of the flagship Resurgence, her eyes scanning the holographic map of enemy positions. They expected survivors, she said quietly, but never like this. They thought we would hide. They thought we would beg. They were wrong. Kieran joined her, the sphere floating beside him. It pulsed softly, casting blue light across the deck. They're moving fast, he said. Multiple fleets are converging. They want to crush us before we reach the next stronghold. Elara nodded. Then we'll show them what patience, planning, and vengeance can do. We fight smart, we fight together, and we never stop. The first wave of Vrax ships appeared on the sensors. They were massive, armored, and armed with energy cannons capable of wiping out entire human cruisers in a single strike. But humans had learned, adapted, and evolved in exile. They did not fear the numbers. They relied on precision, strategy, and the element of surprise. Divide the fleet, Elara commanded. Small strike teams engage first. Draw them out. Protect the main force. The fleet split into shadows, small groups moving like predators among the stars. Human pilots weaved between debris fields, asteroid belts, and the remnants of destroyed planets. Energy beams tore through space, explosions painting the darkness in fleeting colors of fire and light. Kieran piloted a shuttle with a team of elite soldiers. Their mission: infiltrate a Vrax warship and sabotage its systems from the inside. The shuttle glided silently toward the massive hull. Inside, corridors twisted like a labyrinth. Alien soldiers patrolled mechanically, unaware that humans had breached their defenses. The team moved like shadows, striking silently, planting charges, and disabling security systems. Every corridor was a potential trap, every turn a threat. Yet the humans pressed forward, their centuries of training and cybernetic enhancements giving them an edge. Suddenly, alarms blared. A Vrax sentinel, far larger and faster than any patrol, appeared, its red eyes glowing with fury. Soldiers fired, but the creature deflected their energy blast with an armored tail. Kieran activated the sphere. Symbols glowed and the creature faltered, as if the energy from Earth itself recognized a bond. Humans struck swiftly, neutralizing it before it could raise an alarm. Outside, the space battle escalated. The Vrax unleashed their superweapons, massive energy beams tearing through the void. Human ships twisted, dodged, and retaliated. Explosions rocked the fleet, debris scattering like meteors. Each strike, each maneuver had been planned, but the chaos of real battle was unpredictable. Humans adapted, combining intuition with centuries of simulation. Elara coordinated the fleet with precision. Focus on the heavy cruisers. Use the secondary weapons to shield our flanks. Do not lose formation. Pilots responded with flawless execution. Human ingenuity turned the tide to smaller, faster ships exploited weaknesses in the massive Vrax vessels. Shields faltered, weapons jammed, and fear rippled through the alien ranks. Amid the chaos, Kieran's team reached the central chamber of the Vrax warship. There it was, the superweapon the aliens had kept hidden. A massive cannon, capable of decimating entire planets. Pulsed with energy. Kieran's heart pounded. If the Vrax used it, not even a human's fleet could survive. Plant the charges, he ordered. Soldiers moved with disciplined precision, securing explosives along the power conduits. Every second counted. Outside, explosions shook the ship as the battle raged. Vrax soldiers noticed the intrusion and rushed to stop them, but humans were faster, smarter, and more determined. Kieran activated the sphere again. Symbols glowed brighter, energy rippling through the ship, causing confusion among the aliens. Systems malfunctioned, giving humans the edge. The charges detonated in a controlled sequence. A massive shockwave tore through the ship, disabling the superweapon and sending it spiraling into space. The humans escaped just in time. the Vrax warship collapsing behind them in a cascade of fire and debris. But victory came with cost. Several human ships had been destroyed, lives lost in the chaos. Yet every death fueled the resolve of the survivors. Humanity had returned not just to fight, but to win. Elara watched the battlefield, her face illuminated by the glow of distant explosions. "They will come back stronger," she said. "They always do. But so will we. Every loss makes us smarter, faster, and more dangerous." Kieran turned to the sphere. The core is responding. Whatever it contains, it's growing stronger with each encounter. Earth's secret is waking up, and soon it will change everything. Suddenly, the Vrax revealed their ultimate weapon, a massive battle station, hidden beyond a nebula, capable of controlling fleets through psychic resonance and energy manipulation. Its sensors locked onto the human fleet instantly, detecting every move, anticipating every attack. Panic spread among the humans, but Elara remained calm. "Adjust formation. Target the resonance nodes first. We can't allow them to control the battlefield," she commanded. Ships shifted, energy beams redirected, and a small strike team led by Kieran moved toward the station. Inside the station, alien operators struggled to maintain control. Humans infiltrated, sabotaging the resonance nodes one by one. Explosions rocked the station's interior, alarms blaring as corridors collapsed. Kieran felt the pulse of energy. The station itself was alive, trying to resist. "Hold the line," Elara shouted from a flagship. "Protect the strike team." Human ships formed defensive barriers, shielding the infiltrators from heavy fire. Pilots maneuvered with lethal precision, every movement calculated, every action critical. The resonance nodes fell, one after another, and the station shuddered. Energy feedback surged, disabling Vrax sensors and weapons temporarily. Humans had turned the tide, not just with force, but with cunning intelligence and centuries of preparation. Outside, the fleet pushed forward. Explosions tore through Vrax ships, debris scattered across space, and the aliens began to retreat. Fear replaced arrogance. Confusion replaced strategy. Humanity's vengeance was no longer a rumor. It was a storm in the stars. Kieran looked at the sphere. It pulsed in rhythm with the destruction, as if feeding on the chaos. "This is just the beginning," he said quietly. "They will not give up, but neither will we." Elara addressed the fleet over comms. "Today, we show them who we are. Tomorrow, we will finish what we started. Remember this moment. Remember the power of patience, planning, and humanity's wrath." The Vrax fleet limped away, battered and broken, but the humans knew the war was far from over. Each victory had drawn the enemy closer, and soon, the final confrontation would arrive. The galaxy itself seemed to hold its breath, waiting for the inevitable clash that would decide the fate of entire worlds. Kieran turned back toward Earth, the ashes of their home planet calling to him. The sphere glowed brighter, revealing new paths, new secrets, and new power waiting to be claimed. The shadows of war had stretched across the galaxy, but the humans who had returned from extinction were no longer afraid. They had learned, adapted, and evolved. And somewhere in the heart of Vrax territory, the aliens realized a terrifying truth. Humanity was no longer prey. They were predators. Patient, powerful, and unstoppable. The shadows of war had been cast, but the dawn of human vengeance was just beginning. The stars burned cold and distant as the human fleet approached the heart of Vrax territory. This was the alien homeworld, the seat of their empire, and the final target humanity's 3,000-year-long plan. Planetary defenses bristled with massive cannons. Energy shields pulsed with a soft green glow, and fleets of Vrax ships patrolled in endless loops. The aliens had anticipated a strike, but they had not anticipated humanity itself. Commander Elara stood on the bridge of the flagship Resurgence, her fingers gripping the console as she surveyed the enemy. "This is it," she said quietly. "The heart of the Vrax Empire. Everything we've fought for, everything we've waited for, ends here." Kieran stood beside her, the ancient sphere floating in the air. It pulsed with light, casting shadows across the bridge. "The core of this planet," he said. "It's more than a fortress. It's a power source, something they've been protecting for centuries. We destroy it, and we destroy their control. Humanity takes back what was stolen." Elara nodded. "Then we move. Every ship, every soldier, we strike together. No hesitation, no mercy. The fleet spread across space, forming a precise pattern of attack. Human engineers had upgraded weapons with energy capable of piercing the Vrak's planetary shields. Soldiers in exosuits prepared for boarding missions. Pilots ran simulations in their minds, and everyone aboard felt the weight of history pressing on their shoulders. The first salvo struck. Human ships unleashed torrents of energy, tearing through Vrak's outer defenses. Shields faltered and explosions lit up the darkness of space. The Vraks retaliated with full force, their warships firing massive beams that could obliterate entire human frigates. Yet the humans pressed on, weaving, dodging, and striking with precision born of centuries of planning. Inside the Vrak's homeworld, Kieran and a team of elite soldiers infiltrated the central command station. Corridors twisted like serpents, filled with alarms, flashing lights, and mechanical sentries. Every step was dangerous. Every corner could hide death. Yet humans moved with silent determination, guided by the sphere and their centuries of training. Suddenly, a massive Vrax Guardian appeared, a fusion of machine and organic tissue, towering over the team, glowing red eyes scanning every movement. Its claws could slice through steel, its speed was terrifying. Soldiers fired, but the Guardian absorbed the energy, almost as if it was feeding off it. Kieran activated the sphere. Energy pulsed outward, interacted with the Guardian. The creature faltered, thrashing violently as if in pain. Humans struck quickly, exploiting its momentary weakness, and brought it down. The chamber shook as the Guardian fell, a warning of the scale of what lay ahead. Meanwhile, above the planet, the human fleet faced the Vrax's strongest ships. Battles raged across orbital space. Explosions tore through enemy cruisers. Debris scattered like falling stars, and energy beams cut through darkness. Yet the Vrax deployed their ultimate weapon, a massive psychic resonance array capable of disrupting human minds and machinery alike. Elara watched as human ships faltered, pilots struggling against sudden mental interference. "Focus on the nodes," she shouted. "Strike the source of their power." Small strike teams moved like shadows, weaving through chaos, and destroyed the resonance nodes one by one. With each node destroyed, human coordination returned, weapons came back online, and the Vrax fleet began to falter. Inside the planetary command center, Kieran reached the core. It was massive, a fusion of alien machinery and organic matter, pulsing with raw energy. He knew this was a key to the Vrax empire. "Prepare the charges," he whispered to his team. The sphere glowed brighter, reacting to core as if amplifying their intent. As humans planted the explosives, alarms screamed. Vrax soldiers rushed to defend, but the humans moved faster, stronger, smarter. Cybernetic enhancements, training, and centuries of patience gave them an edge. Explosions rippled through corridors, lights flickered, and the power of the core began to destabilize. On the surface, massive explosions tore through the Vrax planet's defenses. Shields collapsed, cities burned, and chaos spread to the alien empire. The humans above struck simultaneously, tearing through remaining warships with relentless precision. Kieran activated the sphere in the central chamber. A pulse of energy surged outward, interacting with the core. Machinery shuddered, energy systems overloaded, and the alien planet itself began to quake. The humans barely escaped as the core detonated in a controlled sequence, collapsing inward and releasing a shockwave that destroyed the planetary shield generator. Above, the fleet watched as the Vrax command structures crumbled. Ships were destroyed or fled in panic. The alien empire, once confident and arrogant, was in disarray. Humanity had struck at the heart, and the cost was catastrophic. Elara addressed the fleet over comms. "We have broken their hold. The empire will fall. Earth's ashes are returned as fire and fury. We are humanity. We are unstoppable." Kieran looked at the ruins of the alien core. Energy rippled in the air, strange symbols glowing faintly. The sphere floated in front of him, pulsing as if acknowledging victory. "We reclaim our future," he said. "Every century of waiting, every loss, it ends now. Humanity rises, not as victims, but as masters of their destiny." The Vrax were not yet extinct. Some escaped, fleeing into distant galaxies, but their empire had been shattered. Humanity had returned not just to fight, but to claim vengeance honor, and freedom. The ashes of Earth had birthed a force the galaxy had never imagined. As the fleet regrouped, survivors aboard ships spoke in whispers, eyes filled with awe and pride. Humanity had returned from the brink, stronger than ever, and the galaxy would remember this day. Elara looked at the stars. We reclaim Earth. We reclaim the galaxy. And we will never allow another species to threaten our home again. Kieran smiled faintly. This is just the beginning. The galaxy is ours to protect, ours to shape. We have waited long, and now we rise. From the ashes of destroyed Earth, humanity had returned for vengeance. And as their ships glided silently across space, the galaxy trembled at the awakening of a species thought extinct. But now unstoppable, united, and reborn. The war was over, but the legend had just begun. Humans had reclaimed their place among the stars, and nothing, not time, not aliens, not fate, would ever erase their triumph. That's it for today's video. If you enjoyed this content, make sure to subscribe to the channel and support us. It really helps us grow and bring more videos like this. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.